Hi and welcome everyone. Hamstring and arm training while trying to learn a recipe for Irish potato casserole. Participation in the exercises is completely and solely at your own risk. So, the recipe. The source is publicdomainreceipts.com, and it has a preparation time of 5 minutes, a cooking time or baking time of 45 minutes, and it should result in servings in number of 6. So 5 minutes preparation, 45 baking, and 6 servings. The first exercise, just to get everything warm, we breathe in and out. And breathe in and out. And in and out. And in. One last time. In. Out. In. Close your legs. And we are ready to start with the hamstring exercise. It's one hamstring exercise, one eccentric exercise for the triceps, and 2 for the wrists. So, Irish potato casserole. This was publicdomainreceipts.com. 5 minutes to prepare, 45 to bake, and servings in a number of 6. The ingredients: 2 cups peeled and shredded potatoes, a half cup shredded sharp cheddar cheese, a half cup melted butter, a half cup milk, 2 beaten eggs, 1 minced teaspoon onion, 1 teaspoon salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon paprika. So now my hamstring exercise. We have a good and stable standing leg. The other leg is up with a flexed foot, and we bring that leg with a flexed foot up, and the upper part of our body goes down. And we try to be as tall as we can with a standing leg, and we try to go straight line down and don't open the hip. We try to be a straight line. And we are training the hamstring of the standing leg. And do here only as many as you can do controlled and concentrated. After that, as soon as it gets too intense or you can't do it under full control and concentrate anymore, rest. Irish potato casserole. We need as a preparation time 5 minutes, 45 minutes to bake, and it should result in 6 servings. We need 2 peeled and shredded potatoes, 2 cups of peeled and shredded potatoes, a half cup melted butter, a half cup milk, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon minced onion, a 1/4 teaspoon paprika, so what we need 2 cups peeled and shredded potatoes, a half cup shredded sharp cheddar cheese, a half cup melted butter, a half cup milk, 1 teaspoon minced onions, 1 teaspoon salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon paprika. And before we go on with the other leg, let's look again. 2 cups peeled and shredded potatoes, a half cup shredded sharp cheddar cheese, a half cup melted butter, a half cup milk, 2 beaten eggs, 1 minced teaspoon onion, 1 teaspoon salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon paprika. And let's go how the recipe should be made. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius, and then we should butter a 1.5 liter baking dish. Now with the other leg. Again, the foot stands stable, the other leg is up, the foot is flexed like a swinging leg, and we try to go down a straight line. And we are training the hamstring of a standing leg, and the standing leg tries to be quite tall. And again, before it gets too intense, rest. Irish potato casserole. 5 minutes preparation, 45 baking, and servings in a number of 6. We need 2 cups peeled and shredded potatoes, a half cup shredded sharp cheddar cheese, 2 beaten eggs, 1 minced teaspoon onion, 1 teaspoon salt, a quarter teaspoon paprika. We should preheat the oven to 160 degrees Celsius, and you should butter a baking dish with a size of 1.5 liters. We need 2 cups peeled and shredded potatoes, a half cup, okay, that's enough, the leg, a half cup shredded sharp cheddar cheese, and so on. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees, butter a 1.5 liter baking dish, and now mix and combine the potatoes, butter, eggs, onion, salt, and paprika in a separate bowl. So basically everything. And then you should place what we have mixed together into the baking dish and add the milk on top. Then put it in the oven for 40 minutes. So the next exercise. The one hand presses against the other hand. And then the hand on top gives in. And this does eccentric force onto the triceps. Now with the other hand, you press in, and the hand on top slowly gives in. And you can change. And a couple of times more. And again. And one last round. And now we are done with this exercise. We have just to do this exercise left. Add it in the oven, then take it again out of the oven and sprinkle the cheese on top. Then you should put it back into the oven until the cheese has melted and is slightly browned. Now the rest exercise, the first one. Both arms the fists out, and then we turn the fists inside. And here, if you're unfamiliar with this exercise, then do it not too much. And wait a day or so or more how your wrist will respond to it. And Irish potato casserole. Preparation time 5 minutes, baking time 45, and the result of these amounts of ingredients is for 6 servings. And we need 2 cups of shredded and peeled potatoes, a half cup of shredded spicy cheddar cheese, and then we need a half cup of milk, a half cup of melted butter, a a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of minced onions, the inside again, a quarter teaspoon of paprika, and 2 beaten eggs. We preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius. We butter the 1.5 liter baking dish. We mix in a bowl basically everything except of the cheddar cheese and the butter. And then we add this mixture into the baking dish and put this baking dish then into the oven for 40 minutes. Oh yeah, already around. For 40 minutes. And after these 40 minutes we take it out and sprinkle the cheddar cheese, the spiced cheddar cheese, the half cup of spiced cheddar cheese on top. And put it back into the oven. And let it in there until the cheese has melted and has taken a slightly browned color. And with it, we're done with the first wrist exercise and come on and can directly go on with the second one. Now it's important to have aligned shoulders and the arm to the side and have a good feeling on the arm. And now bring the fist down and press against the index finger with moderate force. And here the same as with the other wrist exercise, down to it too intense, only a bit, and wait how your wrist will respond to it. Now change and from the outside to the inside. Irish potato casserole. 5 minutes to prepare, 45 to bake, and taking these ingredients into account, 6 hours. The ingredients are 2 cups of peeled and potatoes, 2 cups of peeled potatoes, peeled and shredded potatoes, a half cup of shredded spicy cheddar cheese, a half cup of melted butter, a half cup on the bottom against the middle finger, a half cup of melted butter, a half cup of milk, 2 beaten eggs, 1 teaspoon of minced onions, 1 teaspoon salt, and a quarter teaspoon paprika. And now we are done with this arm and have just one left to do. Good aligned shoulders, good feeling in the arm, down with the fist, and press with moderate force against the index finger. Now we should preheat the oven to 180 degrees. We butter the 1.5 liter baking dish. When we mix in a bowl the potatoes, the salt, the eggs, the paprika, the minced onions, and I think that's all. And basically everything except the cheese and the butter, and not on the outside. Then we add all this baking dish with what we have mixed in the bowl into the oven and bake it for 40 minutes. After these 40 minutes, we take it out and sprinkle the cheese on top, from the bottom, no, from the top, against the third finger here also. Sprinkle the cheese on top, then put it back into the oven and bake it again until the cheese has melted and has taken a slightly brown color, and from the bottom against the finger. And as soon as we're done with this isometric position, we're done with all the exercises. We don't have time left to say it all again. I thank you very much for your participation with the exercise if you've done it, and overall anyway for your attention even if you haven't participated in the exercises. This is the end. Thank you very much. Until the next time.